Hey going guys, Steve here from Australian 4x4 Adventures, and this is going to be a massive video because I have been keen on this for ages. Toby's in the background. He's going to make some noise, sorry. Alright, so before we get into this one, let's roll the intro.
Love it. I love it. Tell that what's happening.
Okay, so you probably would have noticed by the thumbnail what this is. So this is the Kulkyne Kampers double stretcher bed without a center pole, which, oh my God, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for someone to make one of these and hopefully make it good. Honestly, this has not been out of the packaging yet, so this is going to be the first time I set it up. I don't think this is going to be the fastest thing in the world to set up because there is a few components to it as opposed to a normal just spring out stretcher bed. But they don't make stretcher beds for doubles without a center pole that are that quick. So there's always going to be a compromise between that style versus this style. I've got a stretcher bed with a center pole in it. It's pretty quick, probably takes you, I don't know, a minute to set up. It's pretty quick. But that center pole, oh, I don't use it because of that factor. Right, so there's obviously some other parts here as well. So this is the stretcher bed. It is in 2 bags. That's due to a weight thing. All up between the 2 bags, 32 kilo. She's weighty. It's that weight because they have to make it strong enough to be able to withstand the pressures to hold the canvas out without it collapsing in. So the steel has to be nice and thick and strong and reinforced, which unfortunately adds weight as you go. So it's a compromise between being able to do it at all versus a bit of weight in the car. So it is a compromise. I'm not going to say that's not an ideal situation, but I think it's some people that's going to be a compromise they're quite happy to make. That's your judgment call to do from there. First thing I'm going to do is unwrap this so it's got some time to expand while we muck around with this. So let's open this sucker. Let's get into the main event. So technically this bag lays down like that. And the entire thing opens up nice and wide, which I think is absolutely awesome because it means it's nice and easy to get back into the bag later on. I hate these little bags that just sort of one zip on top. We've got to try and separate it and feed it in. How hard is it to make a zip that goes all the way around places? So I reckon these guys have got that sorted nicely. Okay, so literally first time opening this bag. I have no idea what's in it. Cool, all right, so the tensioning rods, so that'll be flexi, something. Don't know what yet. Find out as we go. Then we've got the stretcher itself. Oh my God. I'm not gonna open it just yet. I'll have a look at the other bag. Other bag. What have you got? So the other bag has more stuff in it, strangely enough. Alright, so they look like more frames from underneath, leg extensions I think. A couple other bits and bobs. The turnbuckle tensioners. There's a whole lot of nuts and bolts that it looks like they need to be put together first. I'm tipping you don't have to do this for every single time. This is just going to be the first time setup. So, I bet we get into it. Making this look hard. It can only actually go on one way. Boom. that takes a lot of tension. It's still not quite enough, so I'm going to back off this Velcro just a little bit more. There we go. Pretty easy. And we're good to go. Now that that's all done up, we can basically tip it up. And it'll sit on its edge. It gives you much better angles of what I was doing before. So essentially this is just the Velcro holds everything in. After you can retighten these things from here. Now, I'm not 100% sure this is the exact correct procedure. I'm doing this from a point of view of a user who's just bought one, looking at the instructions, trying to put it together. Doing nothing else other than just that. So I haven't got any insider information or anything else. It was just I've got it. Now let's figure it out. So the next stage is obviously putting in the extra bracing. Because this is so wide, you're going to have to put bracing in it to do it. Obviously these wing nuts won't be have to put them in every single time, but you will have to at least leave them in the unit, I'm guessing. There's an easy way. See, it's all just about figuring out the technique sometimes. Sometimes I can make it look awkward because I've never done it before. I'm trying to figure it out, but that they obviously pull it into a line. Now I know the technique. Should be pretty quick and easy. So from there, starting to get some tension. Repeat on the other side. Okay, so apparently, if you're just sleeping by yourself, not two people, that's enough to sleep on it right now. You don't need the turnbuckle. So, in theory, well, it didn't collapse, so that's a bonus. See? Oh. Not too bad. So this is where the strength comes in for the double component. So essentially it's these little hooky things. Oh, they all need to be undone. This is all reinforced ribbing down the guts here. This is the reason the weight is so heavy as well, because this is all reinforced steel. This is solid stuff. It's not, so it's designed that you actually give it enough tension that you flex this bar in a little bit so it's flat, because it's actually got a slight curve out. Let's do that for now. See, I'll do that one up. This one's coming loose again. I think it's going to be a nice combination of just trying to get them equal. I don't want to go too far because I've still got to do the other end, which is going to also pull this back in as well. So I'm going to leave it like that. Do this back up. Let's have a look. I'll do this one on top as well. So that's why this opens up. That's your finally where the hooky thing is. Hook her on, this side on, and start doing it up. So far as much work as this is, everything's been mostly standing up, apart from the original sort of putting it on the ground. Everything else so far I've been able to stand up and do. Obviously, I was standing up doing this on the other part, having it on its side. Just wanted to show you that it can do it laying down on its feet as well. So, quite handy that way. Rightio. Because I don't want it to bend down anymore. Pull that back over there. And that job is pretty much done. Alright, so one stretcher bed. That's pretty good and pretty sturdy. So I'll lay on it now. Now it's got the tensioner pulleys in, I'll lay on it now to see how that feels as well. They do say you only really need it if you've got two people in there, so you don't sort of drop into each other. If it's just the one of you though, or maybe one and a toddler, probably don't need to do that step, I reckon. Because shit, we all know a toddler's going to sleep on top of you anyway, so. What's the difference? It's good height too. Probably, if anything, it might be a frag too tall for what I'd normally have. But like, it's still a little bit on lean, but you definitely don't feel like you're about to fall into the middle. So from this angle you can see what I was talking about with this bar. So before this was actually bent out, now it's ever so slightly bent in. So I've probably overdone it just a frag, but that's sort of the tension that you're putting on these things to get this thing to sit properly. So that's why these steel bars are so strong, also so heavy, to make it all strong enough to be able to hold your weight. I think they're rated to 200 kilo, which is a fair bit of weight. I think that's going to give us a better idea of what's what. One other thing to do, I guess. Right. So first thoughts of it being together now, being able to sit on it, lay in it, and have a bit of a play with it. It's not perfect. If you're expecting a perfectly flat, 100% supported mattress like you would at home, you're not going to get it. So if that's what you're after, don't buy it. It's not for you. If you're after something that's a hell of a lot better than anything else on the market when it comes to double stretcher beds, 100% it is for you. It is a bit fiddly to put together. Having said that, as I said before, this is the first time I put it together, so it's always going to be a little bit more difficult for me on the first time, rather than sort of after I've done it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever times afterwards. It's just going to become second nature. That probably took me 15 minutes to set that up for the first time, which in my terms is way too long when you're setting up a camp. So yeah, I'm going to need to get better at it, otherwise I'm just not going to use it. That's just the fact of how my camping setup is. If I can't have camp set up within 15 minutes in its entirety, so that will mean stretcher, swag, awnings, all the bits and bobs that I want out, then it's just not going to be part of my camping setup. That's just the way it goes. The advantage with me is obviously my awning takes about 3 seconds. So as long as I can keep my stretcher and swag down to, say, 14 minutes, I'll be pretty happy. That's not a bad setup for the comfort that you get out of it. Would I use this on a moving camp? No. Would I use this for a 2-3 nighter staying in the same spot? Absolutely I would, because it's so much more comfortable than sleeping on the ground and having to worry about mud and everything else. It means you can get in and out of the swag at a normal height. I'm not getting any younger, unfortunately. So getting up off the ground is just a pain in the ass in the morning. You just want to lay there, and so that 3 AM piss that you got to take in the morning, it just makes it a little bit easier to get out of bed and just go, oh, fine. I don't have to crawl around on the ground to get up. So it's the little bonuses. And I've always said it's the little things that make a big difference when you're camping. So the easier you can make it for yourself, the more you're going to want to do it. So that's my whole adage on everything I do. Yes, I carry a lot of crap with me. Yes, I probably take stuff that I don't need, but I want it because it makes my life easier, which means I do more of it. So yeah, that's my first thoughts on this so far. I'm just going to pack it up quickly. I'm probably going to leave the swag up because it needs to probably air out. I'm probably going to just, weather it a bit. And then I'm going to put the stretcher away. So I might just do a quick time up to that, see what happens there. And then I'm going to go use it. So this is just my first thoughts on it and what it is and how it works. Do I think it's worth the $400? Because they're not cheap. Yes. So far, yes. Time will prove whether I still agree with that. But so far, I think it's a good bit of kit for what you pay for it, for the comfort you can get out of it, as long as it's for, say, a 2-night or more trip. Yeah. Yep, I'm happy with that. The swag, well, we'll see how the swag goes. I'll give it a couple of cracks. As I said, I like that style where it's fully open because it makes life easier for making the bed, packing stuff up, getting Tobes in and out. Say Tobes decides, wet the bed, or let he, God forbid, throw up in the bed. Oh, it's the worst when they do that. It makes the life a whole lot easier for access, getting to it, so you can clean it out a little bit easier. Yeah. All right, let's pack it up and have a look. Alright, so that took around about 8 minutes. Packed it up, and that was my first time doing it, and I was sort of figuring out that I could leave the cross bracing bars on here. Just had to do the wing nut back up, and the wing nut for the extension legs gets left in there as well. So next time I don't have to go around and put all of them on. I've just got to pull it up, put the one in, done. So it should be quicker, heaps quicker, for the next setup. So that took me a little bit longer to pack it up because I had to figure that out as we went. Obviously just got to zip this up in the bag and we're done. Anyway, so hope you liked that video, guys. If you've got any questions on the gear, what you think, if I've missed something, if you want to know something else about it, drop it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, of course, and I'll see you next week.